Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kate, or I go by AlwaysMoreSims here on YouTube for 10 years now. Oh my gosh, this is my 10-year anniversary. I've been here for 10 years. I can't believe it. Just thinking back over all the years, all the things we've done on this channel, all the things that have changed in my own life. Just kind of crazy thinking about me from 10 years ago versus me now. I would hope that the channel and myself have grown since then. But it has been 10 years of making the content I love. So it's just, oh my gosh, it's so unreal. 10 years of playing chaotic storylines and building little pixel houses. Some of you have been here for the entire 10 years, and if you have, I see you, I love you, thank you so much for all of your time. For those of you who have joined along the way, or hey, maybe this is the first video you've ever seen from me. Hey, how is it going? What's up? I'm so glad you're here. Thanks for stopping by. But it's, all of us is just crazy. And anyone who has supported the channel over the years, you are very special to me. So when I was thinking about how I wanted to celebrate, I didn't want to just post some normal video. I wanted to do something special. Sorry, I just whacked my mic. I wanted to do something special. I wanted to do something that felt authentic to me. And I was looking for something nostalgic, comforting, and maybe just a little bit unhinged, but you know, in the best way. And if you know me at all, you know that I am a chronic rereader and rewatcher. You'll really know that if you watch my feed or my I'm a Lover challenges. I'm very nerdy. I love my stuff. But I rewatch and reread the same books and movies and shows over and over, no matter how many times I've seen or read. I will rewatch things. And one of those series for me, franchises, however you want to see it, is the Barbie movies. I grew up on the Barbie movies. I still watch them. They are like peak comfort to me. And since I'm feeling sentimental this year, I thought, why not rank them? So today we're doing a Barbie movie tier list. Alright, so I want to break down my tier list just a bit for you. So I wanted to be fair in my rankings. So at the top we have S tier. So this is like sacred territory. Okay, these are the movies that I will go for every single time. Like, they are my favorites. I could rewatch them endlessly and every time get excited and feel something for them, and just, they are my favorites. You cannot ever convince me to hate anything about these movies. They are my hill that I will die on. Then we have the A tier. So these are still incredible. They're still comfort movies. There just might be a couple things here or there that I'm like, Then there's B tier. So B is solid, respectable, good movies, good vibes. But they're not always the first one I'll go for. But I still like them. C tier is where you start to lose me a bit. It's not that I hate these movies by any means. But I'm not necessarily reaching for them either. And I hit my mic again. D tier is where things get a little more controversial. So these are movies that I appreciate for what they are, but they just don't really fit me personally. They're not my favorites. And then there's F tier. And for me, F stands for forgettable, because I don't think I've ever hated a Barbie movie. There are some that I won't lie, I dislike quite a bit, but I don't hate any of them. And so any movies that are put in F, they're forgettable. They're not terrible, they just didn't stick with me. I can't tell you hardly anything about them, so they're an F. And to keep things balanced, I have limited myself to only 4 movies per tier. So I couldn't just stack S tier with all my favorites or F tier with all my least favorites. I had to make some hard decisions, and I promise you I did. So There's that. And I also want to preface this by saying some of my rankings, some of my opinions might ruffle some feathers. I already know, but the movies just don't do it for me. It's not meant as hate. It's coming from a place of love. It's me being realistic with myself. So, I'm aware I could really upset some people with some of these rankings, but, you know, it is what it is. So, starting, we have Barbie and the Nutcracker, okay? This movie dates me. It really makes me old because I had this movie on VHS tape. Like, physically rewinding the tape, VHS tape, okay? And I have a soft spot for it because of that. It's also the first, like, true Barbie movie as far as I'm concerned. It's a classic. It walked so the rest of these wonderful movies could run. But if I'm being fully honest, in my overall ranking, it does land a little bit lower. When watching it now, the animation is clearly older, and it is kind of fun to go back and hear how different Kelly Sheridan, who voices Barbie for most of these movies, like hearing how different she sounds compared to later films, it is kind of wild. It's like hearing a time capsule version of Barbie. I definitely have nostalgic memories of watching this movie, but I don't remember being obsessed with it as I continued to collect the movies. It wasn't one I constantly rewatched. That being said, the ballet at the end, you know, they used real ballerinas to capture it. It's iconic. And Clara's sugar plum princess dress, chef's kiss, absolutely elite transformation gown. Okay, so for legacy and nostalgia, it deserves respect. And I'm putting it in the C tier. So kind of in the middle. I don't mind it. I'm okay rewatching it from time to time, but it's not one of my favorites. However, next we have Rapunzel. Oh my goodness. So I also had this one on VHS, but this one is a lot higher on my list. I love this movie. Like, as soon as I was able to rewatch it as an adult, or not even as an adult, just when I was older, like the first time watching it after so long, oh my gosh, I watched it for like on repeat. Love this movie. Genuinely, deeply love this movie. I could put this movie on even now, on repeat, and not get tired of it. There's Rapunzel's magic paintbrush, and I love art, so to me, like, it's one of the best Barbie movie objects. It's one of those things that, like, what I wouldn't do for this Barbie object, and it would be the magic paintbrush. Like, the idea that you can literally paint your way out of problems, like, peak childhood imagination. The art theme in this movie is everything to me. Like, the painting, the color palette, the paintings, like, that she does in the movie, the color palette, like, that kind of pastel-y purple that she wears all the time. Or I guess I shouldn't say all the time, because that's not true. But the pastel purple of, like, her final dress, just everything, okay? Everything. Her hair. I know it's older Barbie hair, but, like, I don't know. I loved it. And I could definitely tell that things had improved a bit since Nutcracker, even though I think they released within a year of each other. And the love story, it's a good Barbie love story. It's so sweet, so simple. That kind of, I saw you once and now I love you. Like, I love that. We love that. This was one of the first Barbie movies that I revisited a lot as an adult. And, oh my gosh, it holds up. I love the magic paintbrush. I love the creativity. I love the villain and Otto and his questionable moaning sounds. I love it all. So this movie goes into S tier for me. No hesitation. Alright, now with Swan Lake, from this point on, we've officially entered my DVD era. Okay, which, yes, still makes me feel old, but At least we've upgraded from rewinding tapes. So Swan Lake is one of those movies where I'm like, this is good. This is solid. I enjoy rewatching this movie, but it's not one of my personal favorites. I really do like it though, okay? Odette's swan dress, stunning. Okay, that transformation of when she gets the dress is so pretty, and the way she just so effortlessly dances, and the ballet energy in this one is so good. Like it's a step up from Nutcracker. You can tell that they're improving as the movies continue. Again, I love that pastel, the color palette, the magic forest, the sparkly lake. Like, visually, this movie is stunning. It is easily one of the prettiest of the early films. But I do say this with love. The little fairy characters, like the little skunk girl and the little porcupine boy, they really get on my nerves. That's probably what affects the ranking for this one for me. They do really annoy me at times, but I know they're supposed to be comic relief, and I get it, and that's my wrist again. But sometimes I'm just like, please, let Odette have her moment. But that's kind of off topic. For me, it's good. It's rewatchable. Visually gorgeous. It's gonna be a comfortable B tier for me. Okay, this is where the controversy starts, okay? Because this next one is a cult favorite. Barbie is Princess and the Pauper. Yeah, I know. This movie is beloved. It is iconic. It is legendary. The soundtrack, a lot of people really like it. I think it's a little overrated. Now, please don't click off just yet. Don't leave me just yet. I like the movie. I'm not saying that I don't. I'm not saying that it's bad. I just don't think it's as untouchable as people make it out to be. For me, the characters are kind of meh. Like, they're fine. They do their job, but compared to some of the other Barbie leads, they just don't stand out to me that much. I mean, I will say, there's Preminger. I do love Preminger. He's hilarious. He understood the assignment. But, like, the songs, I know people will defend them with their lives. I know the songs by word. I know them. I can sing along with them. But overall, they're just okay to me. They're not bad. It's not like they come on and, like, wherever you're listening to Barbie music, and I just automatically skip. I just don't feel like they live up to, like, everyone, this life-changing movie. I don't think that. And maybe part of it is a bit of a burnout. I had a friend growing up who had this movie on all the time, and after a while, this was one that I could not watch on repeat. It lost a lot of that Barbie magic for me. It stopped feeling special. So when I rewatch it now, I just don't feel that same, wow, I love this movie, like I do with some of the others. So, okay, I'm ready. Grab the pitchforks. All right, now for this next one, this was actually one of the only Barbie movies I didn't own on DVD, so I only saw it when I could borrow it from Blockbuster. Yes, Blockbuster. Again, I'm really aging myself here, but because of that, I wasn't super familiar with this movie for a long time. I actually knew more about this movie from the trailers that would play before Mermaidia than from the actual movie itself. So it didn't have that constant rewatch factor in my childhood the same way some of the others did. So I don't know. Like, I love Mermaidia. Okay, I love Mermaidia. It is one of my favorites, so bit of a spoiler for later. But the original Fairytopia, it's good. I like it. I have zero problem putting it on. And Alina's actually one of my favorite Barbie leads. I really like her character, that, like, And I know Barbie characters are, cheesy. They're always good. They always stay true to themselves. But I feel like that really stands true for Alina, that she has all of this stuff stacked against her, like, every time. And she still is such, like, a pure character. I just don't think that this one hits the same as Mermaidia. So it's solid, enjoyable. I think it really builds the world up really well. There are just others that I like more. So this one is also going in the B tier. So next we have Barbie in the Magic of the Pegasus. So this movie is one of my favorites. So like it truly has a very special place in my heart. First of all, I love the names in this movie, like Annika, Brietta. I would love to have a daughter someday named Annika. I really like the names in this movie. And then there's Aiden, and I love Aiden. He's probably one of my favorite Barbie love interests because of that like sarcastic sass and the way that Annika can serve it right back, like even better. Their banter feels fun and balanced, and I love that she doesn't just instantly swoon, but like she can hold her own against him, and like that dynamic alone puts this one pretty high for me. And visually, again, just stunning. Okay, the color palette is gorgeous. I love how they use the soft, beautiful pastels to represent the good characters, and then they really contrast it with the harsh, kind of icy, unsettling colors to represent, the antagonist and the evil, like his lair and all of this stuff. So like Wenlock is in this nasty brown color. Like I just love the use of the colors. Okay, and like Swan Lake did it too. So did Rapunzel, now that I think about it. Well, I mean, I guess all of them do, because then if you think of Laverna's outfit, and like her hair is this like pukey yellow green color, or like so they always use these kind of gross colors for the antagonist. But anyways, I feel like there was a really high contrast of that in Magic of the Pegasus, and I really like it. And then again, Annika's final dress, absolutely stunning. Also, I owned the version that had a 3D option, and it came with those terrible little cardboard 3D glasses that, one side was red and one side was blue, so you could watch certain parts of the movie in 3D. And I thought that was just the coolest thing ever. And then my brother broke them, and so I think I watched it in 3D like maybe 4 times at most. So honestly, absolutely devastating. But this movie is beautiful and fun and romantic and dramatic, and it hits so many things right. But when I compare it to the absolute S tier rankings, it narrowly lands in A. But it's a very strong A. Like, it was right on the brink. Right on the cusp for me. Alright, and then we have the Barbie Diaries. I'll be honest, I think I've only seen this movie once, maybe twice, which probably says enough for you. Like, this one just never clicked for me. I never liked the different animation style. It was such a sharp departure from, like, the soft fairy tale look that I'd come to love from the earlier movies. And even though I did grow up during the height of, like, the Bratz era, I never really got into Bratz. I could never really resonate with those characters. Plus, my parents didn't let me watch anything about the Bratz. And the motion capture style in this movie reminds me too much of the Bratz aesthetic, and it just doesn't feel Barbie to me. It feels like it was trying to be trendy instead of kind of timeless like the other ones. And I mean, maybe if I rewatched it now, I could feel differently, but based on my very minimal experience with it, it just didn't leave an impression. So for me, this movie goes on the F tier. Alright, and we're taking a sharp pivot because next we have Mermaidia, and dude, This is one of my all-time favorite Barbie movies, okay? No hesitation, no second guessing. This movie's immediate S tier energy, okay? First of all, Nori, okay? Her bad bee energy, she's unmatched, okay? And there's something about her voice actress, and I believe her name is Kiara, is how she pronounces it. Don't hold me to that, I could be wrong. But she voiced, oh my gosh, I just forgot her name. In Fairytopia, Dahlia. She voiced a character in Fairytopia, and that's very common with the Barbie movies. They reuse a lot of voice actresses, like Brietta is in 12 Dancing Princesses as Ashlyn. Kiara voices Blair. Like, they reuse character or voice actresses a lot. But anyways, off topic. I really like Kiara has this rasp to her voice, and I really like it. I don't know what it is about it, but it scratches something in my brain in the best way. And it really, I don't know, I think it is so well suited to like Nori's attitude, her sass. It gives her kind of like a depth. It gives like, I've been through it and I'm still cooler than you. Like, and then there's Alina's mermaid transformation. Oh my gosh. 10 out of 10, probably one of my all-time favorite like Barbie transformations ever. Like, one of the best in the franchise. Okay, the reveal, the colors, I feel like it fits her so well. Like, I love that shade of pink. I love her tail, and then they both get like the crest of courage, and it's so simple yet at the same time I absolutely love it. It's one of my favorite like accessory, if you could even call it that, concepts, and the fact that she keeps them into the next movie, I believe. They're meaningful, they're symbolic, they're not just some pretty decoration. Like, there's a reason to them that matters to the story. And then there's Bibble. Okay, like, Bibble was great in Fairytopia, but he was amazing in Mermaidia, like with the berry scene at the end. Or I shouldn't say at the end, but towards the end, like, he's great. So this is one of those movies that if I see it as an option, I'm clicking it immediately. No debate, no scrolling for later. It's comfort and adventure at the same time. The characters are strong. The underwater world is vibrant. The energy is confident. Like, I love it. My only nitpick is that if they were gonna have Nalu flirt so hard with Alina in Fairytopia, then I don't know that I necessarily like him being with Nori, but at the same, like, I prefer him with Nori. It just makes me wish he hadn't flirted so hard with Alina in Fairytopia. But anyways, that's beside the point. We have arrived. My all-time favorite movie. This is it. This is the blueprint. This is gold standard. I watched this DVD on repeat as a kid. On repeat to the point that it literally stopped working. The disc to this day does not work. Okay? That is love. I loved this movie. And Genevieve, one of the prettiest names ever. I will have a daughter someday named Genevieve. Mark my words. I have always loved this name. Oh, the music. Oh, I love it. The dances. I love the sister names that they're in alphabetical order. And watch, I will name all of them for you right now. Ashlyn, Blair, Courtney, Delia, Adeline, Fallon, Genevieve, Hadley, Isla, Janessa, Kathleen, Lacey. So they go in alphabetical order. I loved that. I love that. And the pavilion is magical. It is so pretty. And then Derek. I love Derek. Like, his adoration for Genevieve is so pure and steady, and like, he's supportive and he's gentle and he believes in her, and we love to see it. Also, in future movies, seeing the 12 Dancing Princesses pop up as background characters is so fun. Like, that crossover, I love spotting them in the background, and it just makes the Barbie cinematic universe just feel real. Like it makes it feel so much bigger. And then Rowena, who's voiced by Catherine O'Hara, rest in peace, the absolute queen that she was. She voiced the main villain for this movie, Rowena, and I love Rowena. Okay, I love Rowena. The dramatics, the theatrics, like, I love Rowena. One of my favorite villains in any Disney movie. Not Disney, oh my gosh, Barbie movie. Like, this movie it's so grand, but it doesn't lose heart. Like, it's elegant and still cozy, it's dramatic, but still warm, and every time it's an option to rewatch, it is my first pick, okay? Even over Mermaidia, even over Rapunzel. This movie is an S tier, and honestly, if I could, it would have its own tier if we really wanted to make a statement. Alright, so then we have Fairytopia, Magic of the Rainbow. And this is my least favorite of the Fairytopia movies. And it does kind of hurt to say that because I do really like the world here. But just compared to the first two, it just feels like it's missing something. Like, for me, it falls flat. It lacks a lot of charm that made the previous movies feel special, and the emotional weight is not quite there. And I'm not a huge fan of the side characters in this movie. They just, to me, they're all, well, I shouldn't say all, but most of them are just rude. They're just mean. And I have to say it, her, like, Alina's transformation in this movie, like, the rainbow outfit and the wings, not my favorite, especially coming off her Mermaidia look, which she kept through most of this movie. Like, the pink rosy outfit. Like, the rainbow outfit felt like a big downgrade to me. Like, the design just didn't didn't have the same wow factor. To me, it almost seemed plain compared to her other two. Like, I just felt like her other two outfits had a bit more personality to it. I do like that they tied in the whole, well, she has the rainbow in her eyes connection. Like, that was a nice, full circle moment that she channeled the whole rainbow. And the scene where all the fairies come together to start, like, the first bloom of spring or whatever it was called, like, that was a really cool moment. Like, it's colorful, it's really cool. Like, that was the part I was always envious of, like, the way they could dance in the air like they did. But overall, like, this movie just doesn't have that same magic as the others. So for me, this one actually lands in the D tier. So then we have Island Princess. I do have to start this off by saying yes. I know everyone hates Tia, okay, the elephant, and I agree. She can be annoying, but, and I never thought I'd be a Tia defender. Honestly, I can understand her hesitation, like, losing her best friend to a man they barely know. It's a lot to process, okay? I can appreciate that tension, and I feel like it gives the story a little more depth than just being a simple romance where, I see her, I love her, bring her back to castle, like, caveman. Like, it gives it a bit more. And yeah, while I don't love Tia, I can understand where she was coming from. Now, the music in this movie, I really enjoy, and I think they did a really good job casting the singing voice actress, because I believe, and I think I've looked this up, it's been a minute, I believe it's not Kelly Sheridan, I'm pretty sure it's somebody else, and it sounds really similar to Kelly Sheridan, and I think it was a really good match, but I always find myself humming along with the soundtrack for this one. And can we take a moment for Rose's peacock dress? Okay, absolutely gorgeous. The color, like, I love the bright blue of this dress. It's very different from her typical pink. Like, the way it sparkles, the feathers. It is so pretty. And the setting of this movie is, oh my gosh, wow. Like the tropical landscapes, the waterfalls, the lush forests, the flowers, just the way the island, and even like that greenhouse that she was staying in, like it just felt alive. And I think this movie might have one of the prettiest backdrops in the entire Barbie franchise. I really, really like just the visuals of this movie. It really makes me feel like, really wish I could visit. Like, it's so pretty. And I loved Rose's love for animals. I think that's a really sweet touch. Like, she's just so genuinely caring and connected with the world around her besides people. But that's a trait I really resonate with. Like, her love for the animals, like everything. She will sacrifice everything for her family and like for these animals, and I just love that. So between the music and the visuals and Rose's character, like this movie has a lot of charm, and that actually puts Island Princess comfortably in the A tier for me. It's a movie I'd happily rewatch anytime, even if Tia does drive me just a little crazy sometimes. Okay, so then we have Mariposa and her butterfly friends. I just call it Mariposa. I really like this movie. One of the things that makes it stand out is its tie-in to Fairytopia. So by this point, like the Fairytopia, trilogy is basically wrapped up. But Mariposa actually starts with Alina telling Bibble a story about her friend Mariposa. And, like, that's where the movie comes from, is this story that Alina is telling to Bibble. And I just think it's such a cute nod for fans of the previous movies. Like, I don't know. I really liked that little tie-in. And then Kiara Zanny, who, again, is Nori, is, like, her most prominent role in the previous movies. So she's back. And this time she's voicing Mariposa, because we've introduced Alina, and Alina is voiced by Kelly Sheridan, so it'd be kind of odd to have Kelly Sheridan voice Mariposa, so they have Kiara Zanny do it, and I really liked hearing her in this calmer, gentler role. It was a nice change of pace from the sassy, energetic characters she typically plays. Like, Dahlia had an attitude, Nori had an attitude, even Blair. I wouldn't say Blair necessarily had an attitude in 12 Dancing Princesses, but she definitely had some sass. And so to hear Kiara voicing this gentler character as Mariposa, I thought was actually really nice, and I think she fit it really well. I also do love butterflies, so the fact that they're butterfly fairies and like their wings are giant butterfly wings, I do really like. That design is like a big highlight for me. I think they're beautiful, and the designs really stand out for me. They really make the movie feel magical. I actually like the wings in Mariposa more than I do in the Fairytopia series, so just saying. The film itself also has a lot of charm that sets it apart from some of the typical Barbie movies, and I really enjoy rewatching it. Like, she's the quiet outsider, and I know Barbie sometimes tends to play, the misunderstood, no one gets me, I'm just watching from the outside. But like with Mariposa, it really feels believable that she is an outsider. She doesn't want to go to the parties, and I relate to her so much. I would so prefer sitting out and reading a book than attending some overcrowded party. I get you, Mariposa. I get it. Anyways, fun fact, so Barbie was actually supposed to be a Latina character in this movie with brunette hair, since I believe Mariposa means butterfly in Spanish, but Mattel was worried that the merchandise wouldn't sell if she wasn't her classic blonde self. So they did change her back to being blonde, but they did give her brown eyes, which kind of sets her apart from her typical Barbie look. But all of this said, Mariposa goes up in the A tier. It's a sweet, whimsical movie, and I will happily revisit it anytime. Okay, then we have Diamond Castle. And again, I know this might be an unpopular opinion. I also find this movie to be kind of meh. I like a few of the songs, and if it's on, I will sing along with it. But honestly, I don't love Alexa or Liana. They get on my nerves quite a few times throughout the movie, and I don't really like Melody either. I don't like the love interests, the twins. I think they are not good love interests, and the puppies stand on their hind legs and dance, and the dogs are just creepy. Like, I don't know. I like the story concept. I like the castle. I like their dresses. I can appreciate the aesthetic of this movie, but overall, I'm not drawn to it. I don't really like going back and watching it. It's not one of my favorites. I will skip it if there are other options presented. I think this one is also a tad bit overrated, so this one also goes on the D tier. Alright, Barbie Thumbelina. Thumbelina is tough for me to talk about because I don't remember anything about this movie. I think I've only ever seen it once, and I didn't like it very much. Enough so that I will not watch it if it is on. Not that Barbie movies are ever just on TV anymore. They used to play on Nickelodeon. They don't do that anymore, I don't think. But I don't remember anything about this movie other than the fact that I didn't enjoy watching it. And I came really close, like this close, to skipping it entirely and taking it off the tier list, but I didn't. Because if you didn't notice, I already skipped or left off Barbie and a Christmas Carol, because I don't like that movie either. And so I didn't want it to become like a habit that anytime I came across a Barbie movie that I didn't enjoy, that I just took it all the way off. So I let myself take off Christmas Carol, but I kept Thumbelina. However, I remember nothing about it. I actually remember more about the trailer that would play for this before other Barbie movies. Kind of like how I felt with Fairytopia. I knew more about Fairytopia from the trailer that would play, or like the little opening sequence that would play before Mermaidia, than I actually remember from the movie itself. Thumbelina's the same way. The only stuff I remember about Thumbelina is the stuff that would play in the trailers before other Barbie movies. I watched the original Thumbelina cartoon with the creepy frogs and bugs and beetles and people, but I did not enjoy this version. It did not grab me, so this probably comes as a surprise to no one. This movie goes in the F tier. Alright, so then there's Three Musketeers. And I know Three Musketeers is also pretty popular amongst the Barbie lovers, but for me, it's just kind of meh. I don't dislike it, but it kind of got to a point with some of these that I'm like, it's not that I don't like these movies, you know, there's so many others I'd rather watch, and that's kind of the case here with Three Musketeers. There's just so many others I would choose to watch before watching this one. I'm not the biggest fan of Corinne. I do think she can be a bit annoying at times. I admire her tenacity and just how determined she is to like follow her dreams and be that musketeer, but I don't love her character, and I feel like the movie doesn't do enough to really connect the four girls like as a team. Like discovering that they all want to be musketeers to me doesn't feel like quite enough to make them into a team of musketeers. And then there's the love interest. Okay, this guy is not great. He's misogynistic, and I feel like Corinne would have been much better if she just ignored him. There's so much in this movie that just makes me cringe, or I'm just like, I don't, yeah. On the fun side, though, I will say their code names to get into the ball, like Lady Barbie, Q. I thought those were funny, but yeah, overall, this one lands in the D tier for me. Okay, then we have Barbie and a Mermaid Tale. Now, originally, I wasn't a huge fan of this movie when it came out. I actually remember this was, oh my gosh, this was forever ago. But I remember it premiering on Nickelodeon. And it just didn't, like, capture my attention very well. But a few years ago, I decided to rewatch it, and honestly, it grew on me a lot. Okay, like, Maria is a bit of a jerk at the start, and if I have the option, sometimes I will fast forward through the start of the movie. But she's caught up in her normal life, and she's, resistant to anything that comes with this, like, unknown underwater world. But, like, once she decides to visit Oceania and she starts fighting back against Eris, like, you see her heart come through, and I really like that growth, and I feel like it makes her final transformation into a full mermaid feel earned. That it wasn't just, like, she's half mermaid, but that doesn't mean she just instantly gets a tail. Like, I like that she has to pretty much earn this. The animation and the colors are beautiful. I love her tail. I love both her, like, fake tail and then, like, the one that she earns. And then she has pink in her hair, and I think I've said this. I actually will dye my hair pink in the summer. Because I'm inspired by her. I think it was a TikTok that started it, that it was someone like, I wanted, Maria Summers Barbie mermaid tail hair, and so I did this, and they had, like, really pretty pink, like, highlights in their hair, and I'm like, I want to do that, and I plan on doing it again this summer, and that'll be 3 summers in a row that I've been dyeing my hair pink. Like, I don't know, I really like this movie. The friendship with the other mermaids, all the underwater scenes, like, it's fun, and it gives off that perfect summer, I wish I could live in the sea vibe. I will say, I don't like how when the coral turned healthy, it turned blue, because then it, like, camouflaged in with the water. It didn't stand out as much. I liked it more when it was pink and orange. Like, then it at least stood out. But anyways, for all of that being said, I am putting Mermaid Tale in A tier. It's not my favorite. And this one actually verged right on the brink of A and B, but I do really like this movie, and it's definitely a comfort watch for sure. Alright, moving into Fashion Fairy Tale. So this is one of the last Barbie movies I remember getting on DVD. I didn't grow up with it as much as some of the others, but honestly, I don't mind. I think it's a fun concept, and I do like some of the fashions that Barbie and Marie Alicia come up with. Like, they're so fun. They're just over the top, pink, playful, very Barbie. And that's exactly what you're looking for from a Barbie movie. And I also got a kick, in Fashion Fairy Tale and A Fairy Secret, so the next one, they actually play off that Barbie is an actress, and she's acting in these last few movies. So she acted in A Mermaid Tale. She acted for Three Musketeers, because at one point they use a tie-in from Three Musketeers to help her find, access or whatever to this magical closet upstairs. And she knew how to do it because she's like, when we filmed Three Musketeers, I was in this old French castle. And so that was kind of fun, just that she's an actress playing these roles. So I got a kick out of those little nods to the other movies. I will admit, I wasn't thrilled when they replaced Kelly Sheridan's voice with someone else, and I don't remember what the actress's name is, and I don't know the reason why. Like, I don't know if Kelly was committed to other things, or if Mattel was trying to break away from Kelly. I don't know. The new voice has kind of a rasp, like her voice cracks a lot, and it's kind of charming. And again, kind of like Kiara, like that rasp kind of scratches something right in my brain, but it's also not Kelly Sheridan, and Kelly Sheridan is the queen, okay? Nothing beats Kelly Sheridan as Barbie. But yeah, Fashion Fairy Tale is a B tier movie. It's fun, it's colorful, and it has enough charm to make it worth a watch. And yeah, I don't know, like even the little like flairies, that's Kiara Zanny is in this movie. She plays Shine. She plays one of the flairies. So yeah, I don't know. And also zombie peas. I don't ever want to watch something with zombie peas. And then Fashion Fairy Tale builds pretty much into a fairy secret. So I didn't watch A Fairy Secret up until about 3 years ago. Again, this about the time of Fashion Fairy Tale is when I started to pretty much outgrow the Barbie movies, and so I felt really ridiculous watching the Barbie movies. So I didn't see it when the movie initially released, and I expected to dislike it more than I did. I didn't mind it. It does feel very similar to Mermaid Tale, but with fairies instead of mermaids. And then there's Ken, and Ken was hilarious in this movie. He was cringe, but he was funny, which I did appreciate. But a lot of the other characters were kind of meh for me. Like, I didn't really connect with either of the Taylor and oh my goodness, what was the other one's name? I don't know, but the two fairies, I wasn't a huge fan of. And like when people talk about A Fairy Secret, they're always like, I love Barbie and Raquel, and I just like, I don't really feel one way or another towards them. I do lean on the side of liking Raquel's color scheme more than Barbie's, but I don't know that I really love any of the characters in this movie. Again, that doesn't mean I dislike them. I just don't love them, and I won't sit here and rant and rave about them like some of the other ones. But yeah, I don't know. This movie is also where I noticed that the franchise starts leaning into the really bright pop-y colors, like they're really in your face. And sometimes it's really fun and lively, but other times it's a little overwhelming. With so much happening on the screen at once. Like, it's cool how it builds on some of the ideas. Like, the movie builds from Fashion Fairy Tale, and I feel like Fashion Fairy Tale was also starting to branch into this, like, really bright color, but not as much. Like, even just looking at the cover, or the movie poster, whatever you want to call these, for A Fairy Secret, to me, it just feels brighter than the others. Like, the movies just start to get really obnoxiously bright. But yeah, and then like there's that Liliana Roxelle from the end of Fashion Fairy Tale, who actually apparently is a secret, or oh my gosh, not a secret, a fairy in this movie. So I think that was a really cool little tidbit. But I do have to question, if Barbie already knew about the Flairies from Paris, then why is she so shocked to meet people-sized fairies in this one? Like, that always made me kind of pause and stop and think. But for me, this movie lands in C tier. Okay, now we have Princess Charm School. And I feel like this movie is really split. People either really like it or they really don't. And I am on the side that I do like this movie. I find Blair's character really charming. And again, like, kind of like what I was saying with Mariposa. Like, I know there's always, like, the Barbie character. Like, I mean, Genevieve. Okay, like, she's literally the middle child of 12 sisters. Like, she's the clumsy one, and she's overlooked. And, well, no, I guess I shouldn't say clumsy. She's late, and she's kind of overlooked, and she isn't all that. But, like, she's still the main character of the entire movie. Mariposa, like, she's an outsider. Nobody gets her. She's still the main character of the movie. Same thing happens here with Blair. She's a nobody. She wins this opportunity to go to this Princess Charm school because of a lottery, all this stuff. Everyone there thinks she's nothing, and she shows, I'm me, and that's fine, and I like being me, and I'm not gonna change myself for no one. And then she ends up being someone really important. Like, it totally follows that cliche, but there's, like, I feel like it's really well done in this movie, just like with Mariposa. Like, she's charming, and she's not perfect. She's constantly struggling in this movie, more so than I think she does in any other movie. Like, she in Charm School, Blair is clumsy, and she doesn't know what she's doing, and she doesn't pick up on things quickly. And I feel like that makes her, for being, such a fantastical, fictional tale, like, it makes Blair's character feel a little more realistic. She's relatable. She's a little unsure of herself, but she's still courageous, and it makes her journey through Charm School just enjoyable to watch, I think. Also, I do want to say, going back to 12 Dancing Princesses, the Barbie movies start to reach a point where they start reusing character names, and they really like to use Hadley and Isla together. Or I guess I shouldn't say together. They use Hadley a couple of times. So, like, in Mermaid Tale, her friends are Hadley and Fallon, which are two of the 12 Dancing Princess sisters. This one has Hadley and Isla, and I'm a firm believer that Hadley and Isla are twins in 12 Dancing Princesses. Oh, no, duh, they are. It's Delia and Edeline, I think, are also twins, but anyways. It's a fun nod to the other movies that, like, they used Hadley and Isla again, and it adds just another layer of charm that I do really appreciate. Plus, the friendship dynamics and the way that Blair kind of grows into her role at the school makes it feel more heartfelt than some of the other entries coming out around this time. And I have to give bonus points for the golden retriever in this one, Prince. Okay, this dog has to be ancient, but he's so cute, and he has so much personality, and I just love this little dog. And I have a golden retriever, and I wish my golden retriever was a little more chill, like Prince, but overall, it's a fun, charming movie, and it has a lot of little touches that really do make it stand out for me. So I put this in B tier. Okay, and now we have Barbie and A Mermaid Tale 2, and I have to admit, I don't really like this one. It did not speak to me the way the first Mermaid Tale did. Like, Merlia just wasn't as interesting this time around. I feel like she lost some of that spice that she had in the first movie, and I'm not a fan of the Australian character, Kylie. Like, she didn't really click with me either. Like, the story just felt weaker compared to the first movie, which is unfortunate because the original set pretty high expectations for me. I was really excited when I realized that there was a second one after getting back into the movies, because I didn't know there was a second one. I didn't realize they'd ever released a second one. So when I saw that there was a second one after developing this affection for the first one, I was like, oh, nice! I was severely disappointed. That said, I do like some of the visual touches in this movie. So, like, I like Merlia's new tail, and, like, her tattoo designs, I feel like are really pretty. It's clear that the animators put in a lot of effort, but I don't love her top and, like, the necklace she wears. I don't know. I don't feel like the top matches. It gives kind of Aztec vibes, and it just, I don't know. To me, it just didn't fit. But I love the pink, orange, yellowish of her tail, because I feel like Barbie is so often pink and purple that just to have her in a bit of a different color scheme was kind of fun. But overall, I only watched this movie once, and I have zero desire to go back and rewatch it. I don't remember hardly anything about it except for this Kylie girl steals Merlia's necklace that helps her transform back and forth between a mermaid and not a mermaid. Like, that's all I remember. So for me, the movie actually does not land in F. It was right on the brink of F, okay? It came so close, but there's 2 other movies still remaining that filled those spots. So this one goes in D. Alright, Barbie, Princess and the Pop Star. So this was officially the last Barbie movie I ever got on DVD, and it was like right around this, so it used to be a thing when I was little. For the longest time, we did not have a Target in my hometown. The closest one was like 2.5 hours away. So if we ever went out of town for like a day trip or a weekend trip, we always had to stop at a Target. And while my brother wanted Nerf guns and Legos, I wanted the newest Barbie movie. And that's how I ended up with actually most of my collection, was that we would go out of town and I would pick a new Barbie movie when we go to the DVD aisle. And I picked Princess and the Pop Star, and I remember my parents questioning me about it. They're like, you still want a Barbie movie? Are you sure? And I had stuck with my choice. I went ahead and I was like, yeah. But I never got a Barbie movie again after that. I felt kind of ridiculed, a little ashamed that I was still trying to get Barbie movies. And granted, there's only 3 more after this, but like, I didn't have Mermaid Tale, I didn't have Fairy Secret, I didn't have Mermaid Tale 2, Thumbelina, Fairytopia. Like, I'm the kind, I like to have a full collection. And so there are still plenty of other Barbie movies I still had yet to get that were sitting on the shelves, but I didn't because I felt ashamed. Like, I was too old to be watching the Barbie movie still. So this was the last one that I got. So for that reason, it does hold a bit of nostalgia for me. I do like the music in this one. A lot of people really rail on this movie because it is just a remake of Princess and the Pauper, and again, that is such a cult favorite. That a lot of people really look down on Princess and the Pop Star, but I like the music and I like the dresses, and I actually think I like, well, you know what, I will not officially say that. I really like Here I Am. I really like that song. I like it more than any of the songs on Princess and the Pauper, but all of the other songs from Princess and the Pop Star, I don't know that I could say they're better than Princess and the Pauper. I don't know. It's very mixed for me. But anyways, I think the outfits in this one are really fun, especially Kira's. But beyond that, I don't feel particularly attached to this movie. I'll say I do prefer Kira over Tori. I feel like Kira has more personality, and her songs are a lot more memorable. They, again, found, I believe, a new voice actress for Barbie in this one. And I don't love her singing voice. I feel like Kira's voice and singing voice is really good, and then Tori's is a bit flat. And Tori's character was just a bit boring for me. I didn't connect with her songs. I didn't really connect with her character. And I don't know. This movie, I'm putting it in the C tier. I don't mind rewatching it here and there if there aren't a whole lot of options to choose from, but it's not one that I actively seek out. It's fine to rewatch like once a year for like nostalgia purposes. It's the last one I ever got, but it just doesn't quite hold much power for me. But like, when I was looking at my D tier, I was like, yeah, I'd still rather watch Princess and the Pop Star over any of the movies there. So that's kind of how I decided for this one. Oh boy. Barbie and the Pink Shoes. I don't like this movie. I don't like it at all. I know I said at the beginning, I don't hate any Barbie movies, but and then I said, but there are some I dislike, and this is one of them. I don't like it at all. if it were up to me, and I mean, I guess technically it is because I'm making the list, I probably would have skipped this one as well. But I still, I felt guilty having already cut a movie because I didn't like it. And then, if you noticed, I stopped this with Pearl Princess. There were more Barbie movies after Pearl Princess, but I refused to watch them because what I've seen of them, I already know I wouldn't like. And so knowing that I'd cut all of those, I'm like, I probably shouldn't cut Pink Shoes. But I don't like this one. The story, I don't like. I don't enjoy the music. And I feel like with Pink Shoes, the movies have definitely reached the point where they're too bright. They're just so overstimulating. There's so much going on. It's overwhelming. And I don't remember anything about this movie besides her dress in the final dance part. I don't like how her hair moved either. How it, like, bounced on her head. I mean, I guess that's better than some of the early Barbie movies where her hair didn't move at all. But I don't know. I don't have any fond memories of this movie. Yeah. So, surprise, surprise, this one's going in F tier. I wouldn't watch it again. I watched it once. That was enough for me. And I have absolutely zero intentions of ever watching it again. Okay. And then Mariposa and the Fairy Princess. And just like Mermaid Tale, I liked Mariposa. I liked it so much. And I had such high expectations for this movie. And it fell so flat. Like, the first one was so good. And Mariposa had such a good character. And this movie ruined her. It ruined her. So I don't remember how to pronounce this character's name. Catania, I think. I like her character design, and I like the representation of, like, her having, a disability. Granted, it's not one that we would see, that we can't fly. We don't have wings that work. So it's not a disability, we would see in the real world. But, just having that character, having a character that has a struggle, and, seeing how they adapted to that with the horse, I thought, or with her Pegasus, I thought was really cool. I like the butterfly dress, how she, the butterfly wing design, and how she'll, wrap her wings as a skirt. And, this concept of her being this ambassador, I think, was kind of cool. But that's about where it stops for what I like with this movie. Again, I just feel like Mariposa's character changed so much from the first one to this one, and she became more she felt more like Alina than she did like Mariposa. Which also leads into this next point that bothered me. So they had Kiara voice Mariposa in the first one, and they switched back to Kelly Sheridan for this movie. And that really rubbed me wrong. I love Kelly Sheridan. I love her. But I don't like how they had a voice actress voicing Mariposa in one movie, and then they changed it back to the typical Barbie voice actress for a different one. To me, kind of cancels out what they were trying to build, that Mariposa is Alina's friend from the first one, which, granted, wasn't a big point of the first movie, but I just feel like it nullifies a lot of what's happening there when Mariposa is pretty much just Alina in this movie, just retextured, redesigned. So doing that, it just makes it hard to connect with Mariposa, to connect with her character. And I have to say, last note for this movie, there's no way Mariposa and Catania do not have feelings for each other, okay? Forget Carlos. These two have the hots for each other, and I don't believe you if anyone says otherwise. So, because of this, you can probably assume where this is going. I'm putting this movie in the F tier. I watched it once, will not watch it again. And now we get to talk about Pearl Princess. So this one might surprise you, especially with how little I've liked a lot of these last few movies, but I really like Pearl Princess, and it honestly surprised me how much I love this movie. There's something about it. I really like the mermaid designs with like kind of the sheer like skirts and like little things that they wear on their tails. I really like that. I feel like it's really pretty. It's a pretty little accessory. So I like the mermaid designs. I like the underwater world. And this movie had a very, maybe this is why I like it so much. It has a very Rapunzel-esque vibe that I really like. And yes, there's even the shopping montage, which is a little over the top, and it's so cringy. But somehow it just kind of adds to the charm. Like, this movie is so goofy, silly. And then there's Lumina, and I love Lumina. Like, she is such a pure, sweet character. She's definitely naive. She's definitely a bit childish at times, but I genuinely like her. And I think this concept of the pearl magic is also a really cool touch. I think it's fun and it's unique. And it's one of those movies that I will happily rewatch whenever it pops up, because there have been times where this movie has actually been free to watch on Amazon Prime, and when it pops up, I get so excited. So beyond Lumina, the underwater kingdom and the animation style feels fresh and very smooth, especially when comparing it to some of the other movies. And again, if you know, you probably already know where this movie's going. Okay, it's going on the S tier. It's the only place I have left. Like, just even comparing it to Mermaidia, like, the animation is so much smoother. Like, there's like all this dancing and swirling about in the water. It's such a pretty animation. But it still gives me some of that nostalgia that I crave, because it's kind of like combining Rapunzel and Mermaidia, like the story aspect of Rapunzel with the mermaid style of Mermaidia, like putting them together. So it's probably no wonder that I actually think so highly of this movie, because it's kind of like a mashup of two of my other all-time favorites. But I like this movie. The story, it has enough adventure and some magical elements to be fun and fantastical. But the colors in this one I don't find as overwhelming as some of the previous entries. I actually really love the colors and designs of Lumina. Like, she has all these pretty shades of pink, and her colors are very pink and blue, and I really like that. She's just so sparkly and magical and delicate and whimsical, and I don't know, that's kind of what I'm looking for in a Barbie movie. So overall, Pearl Princess is a standout for me, and it hits all the right notes. It has a lovable main character, it has a magical underwater world, and the story is enjoyable. As a kid, maybe it's a little more on the childish side. As an adult, I can understand that, but it's easily one of my top picks, easily my favorite movie out of the last generation, and I had no problem putting it in an S tier spot. So whenever I see it's available to watch, I get so excited, and I very eagerly click on it, ready to watch it again. And that is where I'm going to end my tier list. Honestly, after Pearl Princess, the newer movies start to feel really overstimulating. Like, kick it up another notch. I did watch Barbie and the Secret Door. Oh my god. That is so overstimulating. Like, the colors, they're just so bright, and there's so much happening on the screen at once. I can't do it. I can't. And the voice actress for that movie that sings for Barbie sounds nothing like Kelly Sheridan. Nope. That one tips so far into overstimulating, childish. I can't do it. I watched it once. I think I maybe watched it twice. My friend actually talked me into watching it with her, and she was like, "Oh, you'll like it." And I remember looking at her the whole time like, "Seriously? You thought I would like that? Seriously?" Now, I do know some people really like Secret Door. I do not. But your opinion is your opinion, just as mine is mine. But anyways, the colors in the upcoming movies after this, they get bright. There's too much going on visually. And I just don't feel like they match kind of the energy of the previous movies that I grew up loving. And I think Kelly Sheridan ended up leaving the role as Barbie again. So for me, these early generation movies, they really hit that nostalgic, cozy sweet spot. And I just love them so much. Now, here's the fun part. I've been celebrating 10 years on this channel, and I wanted to do something special to mark it. So doing this whole tier list wasn't just random. It wasn't just because there's a reason behind this. So seeing all these movies reminded me of how much they've inspired me over the years. And so I actually have created my very own Barbie movie inspired challenge. Ta-da! So that's right, you've been watching a tier list, but it's also kind of a sneak peek into something that I've been working on behind the scenes for 8 months? 9 months? I don't know. But oh, I'm so excited. So I wanted a challenge that captured the magic and the goodness, Moose, that captured the magic, creativity, and nostalgia of these movies that I love so much while joining them with The Sims 3. So think of it as a way to bring the worlds of, Rapunzel and Mermaidia and 12 Dancing Princesses and all of the others to life with your own stories and some gameplay. So I'm so excited. I can't even. So this is it. It's a website and everything. I feel like I'm a big girl now. So this is the Barbie Legacy Challenge, and as Barbie always says, you can be anything, especially in The Sims. So like I said here, I grew up watching the original Barbie movies, and I am so excited to be creating and playing this challenge. These movies hold such a special place in my heart. So we step into the world of courage, creativity, and magic as we follow the legacy of Barbie-inspired heroines across generations. Each era is based on one of the original animated Barbie movies, from enchanted kingdoms to mysterious forests, grand castles to hidden doorways. In this legacy-style challenge, each generation is shaped by the spirit of a different Barbie movie. You'll raise children, overcome hardship, follow your dreams, and bring kindness and imagination into a sometimes harsh world. With each new era, you'll carry the lessons of the past onto a new chapter of the story, sometimes building on what comes before, other times breaking free from it entirely. Now, this challenge uses the full power of The Sims 3 and all expansion packs, but I tried to avoid anything that was super unrealistic. Instead, I encourage rich storytelling, achievable goals, and a little fairy tale flair. So, I'm so excited. This challenge is 23 generations long, okay, and all of them are from the tier list that we just went over. So, it's a long one, but each generation has its own thing. So I'm going off script. Let's go over the overall legacy rules. So each generation is inspired by a Barbie animated movie, so Nutcracker, Rapunzel, Swan Lake, etc. Each generation has a main sim with a backstory, a set of goals, and rules that reflect the plot/themes of that movie. The difference between goals and rules are things you have to accomplish. You must accomplish during the generation. These are required. Goals are recommended extra things to do, so optional, I guess. Traits and lifetime wishes should reflect the character and theme of the story, but not all traits and or lifetime wishes are assigned. When they're not, it's your choice. No money cheats outside of setting up the story for the first generation are allowed. No cheats or mods that greatly affect gameplay and how rules and goals are completed are allowed. Only one heir per generation can continue the legacy. You can choose the heir through storytelling, personal preference, or random roll unless specifically stated. I typically prefer to have my youngest sim be the heir, but it's totally up to you. Aging must be on, set to normal or long lifespan. You may use mods like Enra's mods to manage the world, but no aging cheats unless required by a generation. The heir must follow the romantic and family guidelines of their generation, and adopted or supernatural children are allowed unless the generation specifically says otherwise. You may only move in sims that are story relevant, so love interests, family, allies, sometimes even villains. So you're not moving sims in just for money or to make things convenient. Each heir should pursue careers or skills that reflect their story or movie. You may use ambitions, showtime, and other expansion-based careers. Skill-based and self-careers are also fine. Skill-based goals must be completed without cheating, but skill books and items like the Tabcast are fine. With this legacy following Barbie, I'm going to assume that your heir is always a female, and will be using she, her pronouns in the generation descriptions. However, you don't have to play with just female heirs. If you want to leave it to fate or the game, you can absolutely do that. If you want to ensure a girl, though, better buy up some watermelons. As of right now, this challenge has not been play tested, but I do intend on playing it myself on my Sims channel, so be sure to check it out. So we're just going to kind of peruse through these generations. So again, they're in order. I didn't do like my S tier, A tier, B tier. Like I went in order of the movie's release. So I add like I tell you what generation it is. I add a little tidbit, just kind of my personal thoughts on that movie. And then over on the other side, we break everything down. So, your Sims Rapunzel, these are the traits recommended. It gives you a bit of a backstory. I try to tie the backstory into the previous generations, like right here, Rapunzel, who is Clara's daughter, was raised in a home filled with imagination and love, but when she was still a child, a bitter family friend, or maybe a estranged relative, took custody of her during a messy conflict, cutting her off from family. Raised in isolation, she was told her past was gone and her dreams were foolish, but deep inside, Rapunzel never stopped painting, never stopped dreaming, and when the time comes, she'll use her creativity not just to escape, but to build a better world for herself and those she loves. So, I specify if the generation ever needs to start prior to like young adult. So like we have quite a few that start as a teen. Some of them start like this one as a toddler. Some of them start as a child. I will state, and again, remember the rules are required. And then I'll tell you how many children to have. And like here I specified a girl. So like try to have a girl, but then I did say in the overall rules that it's really up to you. So I guess if you don't want to have a girl, you don't have to. And then there's the goals. And the goals are the optional things to do. And then for each one, I actually suggest a world to play in. So like here's Hidden Springs in case you want to get it through the Sims Exchange, which I don't know if that even still works, but each one will have a recommended world. So yeah, this is all of it. Now you can see up here, I do like have the generations broken up a little bit so they're a little easier to find. And yeah, now I did look through here and I hope I caught any typos, but if you ever see a typo, please do not hesitate to let me know. Or if anything never doesn't make sense, seriously, comment on any video. I will respond to the best of my ability or fix anything that needs to be fixed. And yeah, so this is it. Fairytopia, we've got some Mermaidia going on. And then I even have a note down here. So go to page 2, which is up here. It gives you the next few generations. I so wish the music wasn't copyrighted. I would love to play like the I keep wanting to say Disney, the Barbie music in the background. Absolutely. I would absolutely play that. So I'm sure you're kind of getting the idea. I'm going to pick it up a little quicker. Why is that all the way over there? That's supposed to be right here. It's supposed to be right here. I don't know why that's all the way over there, but yeah. I spent a lot of time on this. So why is it spinning? Okay, it shows you that when I thought I looked through everything, I clearly missed some stuff. I don't know how I missed that. I don't know why it's spinning. Oh my goodness. But yeah, so I spent a lot of time on this. So even if you don't intend on playing the challenge, like just scrolling through, seeing what I got here, I don't know. I would appreciate it. But of course, like if you're like, no, this is ridiculous. Why is she so big? Oh my goodness. Okay. You might be thinking just like my parents did, and you're like, you're too old for this. What are you doing? And to that I say, yes, but let me be. I'm not hurting anyone. So, also, so like here, if there's ever a generation, I do recommend like a name for your sim based on the Barbie movie that the generation is inspired by. But since this is the second Mariposa movie, which means Mariposa would have already been used, I normally will suggest like whoever is the second biggest like female role. So in this case, it would be Catania, or however you say her name. So like that's why I recommend that as your sim's name. Or if you scroll back up to Charm School, so if you end up having all of the sisters for the 12 Dancing Princesses generation, you will have already used the name Blair, and I don't like reusing names. So like I address this sim as Sophia for this generation because I haven't had a Sophia. So, but it's entirely up to you if you end up naming your sim after a character from the movie or not. For like the for the Barbie Diaries, the character in that, like, Barbie plays Barbie. So, and I'm like, I don't want to have a sim named Barbie because I'm like, no. So, like, I'm just going to give her a different name that starts with B. So, anyways, yeah. So, and this marks the end of the challenge. I know there's still quite a few movies to go after this, but Secret Door was the last I watched, and I hated it. Talk about overstimulating cringe. And I don't like Alexa's singing voice in that. She sounds nothing like Kelly Sheridan. And I didn't want to end the legacy on a movie I couldn't stand. So I have no interest in watching the other movies either. I apologize if this doesn't disappoint anyone. You are more than welcome to create your own generations for any of the movies I either chose to skip, like Barbie and A Christmas Carol, or the newer movies I chose not to add to the challenge. For anyone who's played all 23 generations, round of applause to you. I lost my spot. Not everyone can play a legacy that long. I will personally be playing through this challenge on my own channel, so be sure to hang around for when that starts. But if you play ahead of me and come across any bugs, or you have any suggestions for things to change up or to fix, I am aware some of the generations do unfortunately become a bit repetitive. Please don't hesitate to let me know. Comment under any of my videos, or I will have a pinned tweet under my Twitter, where you can also let me know there. I'm always open to suggestions, criticism, feedback. Please don't be too harsh with me. This is my first Sims challenge, but anything. Thank you guys so much for an amazing time all of these years. Thank you for indulging my childhood nostalgia. And just thank you for being here. Like, I could not have done all of this. I would never have thought to do anything like this if it wasn't for you guys. So thank you so much for everything. I'm so excited for the years to come, the challenges to continue, everything. I'm just so excited, and I can't wait to share it all and do it all with you. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye, guys.